In this context, I consider interests as the aspect that drive people. Before you start drawing your interest evaluation diagram or some other neat tool or technique, be aware that in general these interests are hardly ever communicated. It's pure mind stuff, all inside the head of the owner. A 4-year-old boy may share his true interest with you, but the 50-year-old graying accountant will tell you nothing. If no one will tell you anything, what's the point? Well, people will tell you something if you ask them. They will tell you they want an ice cream cone, a new hyperspeed internet uplink, or a new financial software package. In essence, they tell you what they expect. It's a statement created by themselves about the desired situations, their expectations. If I emphasize that expectations are a one-sided communication, then there must be something else as well. Enter, ta-da, requirements. Requirements are a set of statements negotiated among a group of people. They can be the original expectations, if all agree on the statement itself, but more often than not, requirements consist of some consensus of conflicting expectations. Requirements are always clearly defined and describe a state that is desired. This is in contrast to expectations, which are generally vague and abstractly formulated. Here's an oversimplified example. An interest of a programmer is to be involved in a way cool technologies like my brother-in-law is. Let's say Java. The corresponding expectation could be the system can only be programmed in Java. The expectation can be stated along other technical arguments, but it's only the interest mentioned that cause it to appear. If everyone agrees on this fact, then programmed in Java can become a requirement. So, the project manager has this project, surrounded by requirements that must be met. But remind yourself, they are not the stakes, they are not the crown jewels that may not be touched. So you can mess with the requirements, can't you? It sounds simple, but getting the expectations is one thing, and discovering their corresponding stakes is another. Why bother anyway? What's it worth? Well, actually a lot. As mentioned earlier, you can't effectively change the stakes, but you can alter the set of requirements as long as the new requirements continue to support the stakes. In this way, there is room to negotiate a set of requirements for the project that poses no conflict, matches the stakes, and thus makes everyone a winner. Right? Now let's take it one step back. A stakeholder formulates an expectation for the software project. For example, senior management states the project should be finished before the end of August. The project manager then has to deal with this time frame. When this deadline is no problem, he can rest assured. However, hey, it's a software project, so the deadline will be a problem. The way to handle it is to get some information on the stakes that prompted this requirement to be formulated in the first place. Perhaps it's the old I don't want to lose face when my project gets delayed concern. That being the case, the project manager can offer alternatives that don't violate the stake, like keeping the deadline but postponing a subsystem. Chances are good that alternative requirements that keep supporting the stakes will be accepted. Maybe not easily, but hey, you should do something to earn your money. Having said all this, where does it leave you, the project manager? What do you do? In order to have a happy project, a software project manager should respect the flow of stakes. The flow of stakes. And must ensure that the stakes go full cycle. What? Well, let me run that by you. It's a 5-step process. First, stakeholders have stakes. Know that. Second, stakeholders communicate their stakes by expressing their expectations, which are more formally defined by means of requirements to the process or to the product. 3. Project management should make every stakeholder a winner by accepting and inventing requirements that continually satisfy the stakes of individual stakeholders and do not conflict with the general process or the product. 4. Project management should give continuous feedback to the stakeholders on the state of their stakes. They should know what is happening. And last, number 5, based upon this feedback, the expectations and requirements might change. And in this way, a new cycle starts. So now you know the flow. For the coming days, try to fit all that surrounds you into this image of the flow and view the world through these flow-sensitive glasses. As you might already have guessed, the concepts behind the flow are not limited to software projects. The principles for inventing win-win conditions are discussed in general books like Getting to Yes from Fisher and Urey. They even mention its use in hostage situations. The indirect communications of states can even be found in John Gray's classic Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. If a girl tells her boyfriend, I want you to listen to my problem, which is a requirement to the process, the stake of the girl typically would be the reduction of her stress by talking about the subject. Unfortunately, we as men, our typical interpretation of her stake would be, she wants me to fix the problem. Now, to understand exactly how this works, just read this book, but the point I want to make is that you don't have to be currently working on a software project to try the flow. Try to view as much of life as possible with your glass colored by the concepts presented. I'm not claiming these concepts should guide your normal life. Hey, it's just an exercise. This is still a presentation on software project management. The last remark I want to make, and I know this goes to everything I just mentioned, but in reality you will find out that you cannot make all people as happy as you would like to be. You will not be able to satisfy everyone's needs, or some people will try to frustrate the project for the simple reason that they just feel like doing so. However, try to be positive as long as possible. Go the extra mile to make everyone a winner. But be prepared to encounter some negative souls, people who love to play corporate games. You will meet them. And how you can handle them? You can read in my book. Oh, that was another subtle plug for it. Thanks for listening. I hope this message will help you in one way or the other. And if you want to have the whole enchilada, how to analyze stakeholders, how to use project management techniques for feedback, risk management, planning, the works, you might try out my book.